What's good, family? This is Che Willis coming back with another episode of the Wealth is a Journey podcast. Guys, thank you so much. Before I start, thank you so much for tuning in every week. Those who are new to the podcast, we always talk about family, we talk about faith, we talk about business, we talk about investing, we talk about all things growth related as it comes to as it pertains to being a person of more and being your best self. So we are on episode 25, guys. We are moving, man. And I say it every week. It's all about being consistent. It's all about continuing. Even if you don't know if things are really working, you have to keep pushing forward. You have to keep pushing yourself to be your best self. So, before I get started, I just want to say again, thank you to everybody who subscribed. Thank you to everybody who's liked and or shared Wealth is a Journey podcast. It means a lot to me personally that you would take the time and listen to anything that I have to say. Um, but just wanted to say thank you. Let's keep this channel growing. Keep getting the message out to people who need it. So today, um, this episode is going to stretch me a little bit. Pause. Um, because today I'm going to be talking about something that I never really thought about until I was driving in the car a few days ago. Um, when I went to or started going to Seeds of Greatness Bible Church, I listened to music in the car, listen to rap music and different things, but it was never anything educational. My pastor Jerome Lewis talked about something in a book that he was reading about Automobile University. I didn't really know what that was, but he basically just talked about just you're in the car a lot. I'm in the car a lot because I do sales, and just listening to good things, things that are going to fill your mind, things that are going to uplift you, uplift your spirit. Especially if you're trying to be the best version of yourself possible, you have to kind of limit the time that you're listening to things that are not helping you grow. So I listened to different podcasts. I listened to a lot of sermons. I prayed a lot, just seeking clarity on what I needed to do to again be the best version of myself. So as I was going along, I turned the music kind of all the way off to the point where my wife would get in the car with me and she's like, "Yo, can we listen to some music?" And I would get frustrated because I'm like, no, this is what I want to listen to because it's actually feeding me to again be a better version. So was listening to something a few days ago, and it was a gentleman named Myron Golden who I listened to before, but what I heard before, I don't know, I'm going to say maybe 6 months ago or so, I was listening to him. He talked about something called be do have, and it's basically the premise is you have to become something and you have to do what those people do, and then you can have what they have. As far as like, okay, so I say I wanted to be a millionaire, a multimillionaire, and in order for me to become a multimillionaire, I have to do the things that multimillionaires do. And then if I do the things that the multimillionaires do, I will have the things that multimillionaires have. So hopefully that makes sense. I didn't do the best uh, being able to describe what he was actually saying, but that's the way it makes the most sense to me. So um, in becoming a multimillionaire, um, you're, in my opinion, you're not going to be able to do that in your 9 to 5 job. Your 9 to 5 job will help you get there, but you're going to have to do other things and acquire different assets, income producing assets that are going to help you get to where you want to go. So in becoming a multimillionaire, it's not to become a millionaire just for millionaire's sake, saying, look at me, I'm a multimillionaire. No, the whole goal is to be able to, like the Bible says, um, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. I consider myself a good man, so I'm trying to leave generations of wealth to my family, and not just leave them things, but also show them how to handle the thing that I'm leaving to them. So um, I mentioned this before, but looking at social media, you'll think a lot of people just arrived. Like people will see me and they might think that I just arrived um, at this place of success, or having or acquiring things. But what I don't think people see is the hard work and the work that you have to put in to be able to become the person that you want to become, to have the things that those people have. So um, I talk about my journey of investing. Investing was not something that I learned growing up. So I wanna let me stop. I was at an event over the weekend, and somebody said something to me that I've heard before, which makes me think that people think that I knew all the time how to invest when I didn't. You might start talking about investing, you might start talking about entrepreneurship, and they're like, "Oh, well, I never knew about that stuff growing up." Newsflash, neither did I. Um, but the thing is like you can't allow that, you not knowing, to be an excuse for you not having. So if you want something bad enough, uh, it doesn't matter what it is. The fact of the matter is you're going to have to put the work in to do it. So I wanted to invest in rental property. So what did I do? I sought out information to be able to put myself in position, put my wife in position, and my son in position to be able to have property. Um, Now, I didn't know everything to start, but as I was seeking information, my eyes got opened up and everything was more and more clear as time went on. But again, I needed to do something to be able to have the thing that I wanted to have, which is, again, being a multimillionaire. So, um, uh, investing in the stock market. I didn't know anything about investing in the stock market. As a matter of fact, I mentioned before my 401k. I had no idea what a 401k was. It was something that was foreign to me. It wasn't something that was talked about in my house. But in talking to people at work, you gain a sense of clarity on, hey, this is what I should be doing. Because again, the goal, this is what the goal is, what my goal was. And in order for me to achieve that goal, I need to be doing this and I need to be consistent with it. So as years go on, you look at your 401k statement and you're like, oh my gosh, I had this amount of money sitting aside waiting for me to retire. But the key factor in that is you have to be consistent. So what does that tell me? If I want to acquire properties, I need to be consistent in doing the thing that I need to do to buy the property. Now, in my case, I buy properties cash. Now, does it take longer? Absolutely. But if something happens, something crashes, the stock market, the housing market crashes, it doesn't affect me because I own them outright. So nobody can take the properties away from me. So in my investment journey, that's what I realized. I used to do personal loans. I used to do mortgages and things like that. But as I went along the journey, my eyes got open to the possibilities. If I did this different, I would have ownership. And if I have ownership, then everything that comes from this asset, this income producing property, I get to keep, and I can do whatever I want with it. Which in my case, I reinvest it every time, and the money is not. Uh, it's like the money doesn't exist because it's for later on. So if the money doesn't exist now, just like the 401k, you look back a year later and then you see how much money you accumulated from this asset, this income producing property, and then you're like, oh my god. But the thing is, you're consistently investing every month, and then good things are going to happen for you. So hopefully that makes sense what I'm saying. But as it pertains to you in your journey, whatever that journey is, you need to ask yourself, um, before I say that, in your journey, before you start, you need to ask yourself, first of all, what do I want to do? What is my end goal? Once you find out your end goal, you need to count up the cost and see if you're ready to become the person that you need to become and do the things that you need to do to have the things that you want to have. And I don't think a lot of us do that, which is a lot of times the reason why we start and stop. And it's not any slight, it's not any shade, it's just the reality of the situation. Um, Again, going back to the 401k, if you just look at, like, the money's coming out of your check every week to the point where you don't even think about it anymore. It's just automatic. So if you want to achieve a certain thing or a certain status or whatever that thing is, you have to do it to the point where it's automatic and you're not thinking about it. So now with this podcast, us being 25 episodes in, it's not a thought anymore. I'm filming at this time. I'm cutting out, this amount of time to do the thing that I need to do to become the person I need to become, do the things that I need to do, and then have the things that I want to have, which is being able to give information out to the people who need it, who are looking to change their lives, and so then they can be the best version of themselves for their household, for their community. And that's why we're doing this. So before you start anything, before you start your journey on whatever your thing is, you need to make sure that you're ready to become that person, to do that thing, to have the thing that you want to have at the end. That what's going to be the end result. So we're going to go back to the rental property thing. If investing is your thing, if rental property is your thing, if investing in the stock market is your thing, then what do you need to do to acquire the property? What do you need to do to invest? It always goes back for me to the budget, because if you don't have money, if you don't have money carved out of your budget each month, then you're not going to be able to either pay for that property cash, or you're not going to be able to put down the money for a down payment to then acquire the property with a mortgage. But the thing is, you're not going to just arrive at this place. It's going to take strategic planning in order for you to get to where you want to go. And you're not going to have all the answers. You're not going to um uh everything's not going to be clear to you. The thing is, it's all a journey. And again, one of the reasons why I don't like social media is because it gives people a peek into your life, and the behind the scenes things are not shown. a lot of the things that you see are highlight reels. And I think it gives the people a false perception of success and how success happens, which is another reason why on this platform, on this podcast, we talk about the ups, we talk about the downs. So then you know exactly what it's like to win, and you know what it's like to learn a lesson, because we're not losing here. We're learning lessons that's going to put us in a better position. We're going to face adversities, we're going to overcome those adversities, and then we're going to come out on the other side. So um, if you're starting your journey, if you're starting your thing, whatever that is, just know, um, who do I need to become? What are the things that I need to do to in order to achieve the thing that I want to achieve? Um, One thing I will mention, that I don't think we think about. I was at a function maybe about a month or two ago, and I was talking to a friend, and we were talking about budgeting. We were just talking about, just having a casual conversation about budgeting. Um, and they were talking about the things that they wanted to achieve, which meant for them that they needed to cut back on some things that they were doing. So no more than 20, 25 minutes, maybe it might have been 30 minutes later, then we're talking about taking trips. The conversation was, I need to cut back. I need to do this. I need to do that in order to achieve the thing that I want to achieve. But just know, for you, anytime you're looking to achieve something, the enemy is going to try to steal um, the idea out of your head by replacing it with something that's going to knock you off course, knock you off your journey. Um, so just it happens to me all the time. And the word no is going to be your best friend when you're on your journey. If the thing that the enemy puts in front of you does not line up with where you're trying to go. And again, it's not forever. It's for a time. I love going on trips. I love taking vacations. I love just relaxing and being able to enjoy myself. But the fact of the matter is that the journey that we're on to pay our home off, once we get there, is going to put us in such a better position to be able to take any type of vacation we want. Spare no expense, because one of your biggest expenses is going to be your mortgage. If you have no more mortgage, that's when life gets good. Um, so, but the thing is that if I'm talking about paying the house off, I might have another conversation with a friend about taking a trip, or doing the thing that's going to, um, it's not going to fit into the plan, if that makes sense. And some people may say, hey, you're being rigid. And if that's you, put a comment below. It's okay. I want to know your thoughts. I want to know what you're getting out of this, and we can have that dialogue. But for me, it doesn't, not saying not taking a trip, but taking an extravagant trip where it's going to blow um, the budget. And again, once we pay this thing off, then we'll be able to take those extravagant trips, fly first class, and do nice hotels, and again, spare no expense, because we worked hard to be able to achieve the thing. So um, I want you, once you map out your plan, map out what your thing is, to be able to recognize and see how the enemy is trying to knock you off course, because it's going to happen. I promise you that. And it may not be a friend. It may be, oh, I'm trying to get my finances in order, and you don't really have an emergency fund, and you're used to using credit cards, and you're saying to yourself, you know what, I'm going to rip these credit cards up. I'm not going to use them. And then your tire blows. When you're used to using your credit cards to fix the thing or repair the thing, um, that may be the thing, the tire blowing, to knock you off course. Or a pipe may burst in your house, or something may happen when you make the decision that you're going to operate a certain way. I'm telling you, be mindful of that because it's going to happen. It's happened to us so many different times. But the people who win at doing the thing that they're trying to the thing that they're trying to do to achieve the thing that they're trying to achieve are the people who are consistent and who may have to make minor adjustments to their plan, but then once they get over the hump of the obstacle, whatever that is, then they'll be able to get right back to it full force. And I talked about it on the previous episode that um, I had somebody move out, I had a tenant move out for about a month and a half. Now, what I usually do is the money that I get from the rental properties, I dump it into the stock market. And I'm consistently dumping money into the stock market, and a set amount of money I'm dumping into the stock market. Now, when I don't have that tenant paying the rent, I'm not able to put as much money into the stock market that I'm used to. It's frustrating. However, I understand it's for a time. And then once I got the tenant back in, it was business as usual. But I didn't stop. It was just a little bit less. However, when it got the tenant back in there, then we were back off to the races. So just be mindful of that. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I just want to make sure that you guys are mindful of that because it's very, very important, and things are going to happen to knock you off of your journey. The last thing I want to talk about is just being a visionary. Um, in order for you to achieve anything in life, you have to have the foresight to look long term down the road. And if you're not a long term thinker, that's fine. Not many of us are, but um, it's going to be very important for you to be a long term thinker, meaning that if you invest, say, in the stock market, it's a long term play. Unless you're day trading and stuff like that. I don't do day trading. Um, I've done it before and it didn't work out too well for me. I'll just say that. But you have to be a long term thinker because it's a journey. So if you're investing right now and the stocks are not doing as well, but you've done your research and you know that the companies are good, they have innovative products, they have a moat, they have um, things that's gonna keep them around for a long period of time. They have good management, free cash flow, all those different things. Then you just keep investing. You keep investing. 2 years ago, or I'm sorry, a year ago, when a lot of the stock market was down, um, a lot of people would have the tendency to not invest, or if they see their stocks going down, they'll pull the money out. You don't pull the money out when it's going down, unless the house is on fire and that specific stock or ETF or whatever you're investing in is crashing. But that's when you buy more. And when the stock market was going down, 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 I saw that as an opportunity to buy more. And I had the idea in my head like, oh my God, this is bad. But at the same time, I knew that it's not going to be bad forever. So I need to take advantage of this opportunity. So I kept buying more. Now, a year later, now everything's back up. Well, the stuff that I bought anyway, not the whole stock market, but the things that I bought are up now. So you have to be that long term thinker that when things don't look favorable for your plan, then you have to know that I have to keep going. Because if you don't, that's going to stop your consistency, and your consistency is going to stop your progress, and then you're going to have no momentum. And you have to build momentum, which we talked about before, in order for you to achieve the thing that you want to achieve. So hopefully this has helped somebody. I just was driving along the other day, just and I was stuck, man. I'm like, oh my God, like a light bulb went off in my head. about the be do have. And if you're not the person who is the visionary, if you're not the person who's a long-term thinker, if you're not the person who is counting up the cost of the thing that you're trying to do to achieve the thing that you're trying to achieve, then you, I would write it out. Like, I don't necessarily have to write my thing out because I already know in my head the way I want things to go. But if you need to write it out because it'll keep it fresh in your head of where you need to go. It'll be that constant reminder of where you're trying to go, especially when things come up and might knock you off course of where you're trying to go. So again, hopefully this helps somebody. But this was on my heart, and yeah, thank you. We'll see you next week. What's going on, family? So hopefully you guys have enjoyed the episode today. Today's entrepreneur highlight is none other than yours truly, Che Willis. I help families living paycheck to paycheck live the best life that they want to live through budgeting and investing. So if you have more month than money at the end of the month, reach out to me at wealthisajourney.com. We do one-on-one budgeting classes. We do one-on-one uh, investing one-on-one classes as well. So again, we can get you to living the life that you want to live. I said it before, and I'll say it again. Budgeting, investing, wealth building, it's not about the money. It's not. It's about creating the habit of investing, budgeting every month to get you to live the life that you want to live. So if this is you, make sure that you tap into the wealthisajourney.com. Wealthisajourney.com. Tap in.